our next Fireside chat, actually, which is the AI4Bharat Fireside chat. So this product, Satya Nadella was here in India in January, and when he saw this product that was developed by these researchers at the IIT Chennai campus, he called it the mic drop event of his trip. Basically, he said that he hadn't seen a product like this where high tech met high purpose. And so here to show and tell are Shankar Maruwada, CEO and co-founder of EkStep Foundation, and Pratyush Kumar, principal researcher, adjunct faculty, AI4Bharat. Please welcome them.
We'll need one more mic. Good morning. Thank you, Anita, for that setup. And I think the previous panel teed it up perfectly for us. Can AI reach the far corners of India? Can AI go beyond the Indian language? And I have with me the right person to tell you about it. Pratyush was the person who did that demo to Satya Nadella, which blew his mind. What really happened? Why is it such a paradigm changing? We will discuss this and more in the talk now. To get to it straight away, what did you show him? Why the excitement? What's the paradigm change that's happened over the last few months that everybody is talking about?
Yeah, hi Shankar and hi everybody here. I'm sure we don't have to tell people that we have gone through a mind-blowing AI revolution over the last few months. I think all of you have been talking about that over the last few days. But very briefly, given my professorial hat, right, I think what we have seen in the last few months in AI is a quantum change in technology that typically takes decades to happen, right? And the ability to create text, images, video, music even, by training on large amounts of data, that's a huge step forward. And all of you have been playing with things like ChatGPT, and you have been seeing what is possible. But from where I come from, that is research, I can tell you there is much more to come. These models will become significantly more capable, and many people will build on top of that. Till now, we just have GPUs humming somewhere in west coast of US and building these models. Once you give it in the hands of people across the world, you will see far more creativity coming on top of that, and that should be great to see. One such example was what I demoed Satya. So Satya Nadella was here, I think, at the beginning of the year, and he was visiting Bombay, Chennai, Bangalore, and so on. And we had an occasion to show him what we have been doing as part of the project called Bhashini, which is a project by Government of India on building open source language AI. In the past panel, the speakers mentioned how India has so many languages. In fact, there's a proverb that says that if you go from one village to another village in India, we speak different languages. So the government, and in a way, not many examples exist of this globally, but the Indian government has set aside a large sum of money to build Indian language AI in the open source. And that is the project Bhashini. I would encourage you to look at the website. And IIT Madras and AI4Bharat have been participating in that. So what we showed Satya was how you can combine this open source effort from the government of India with effort coming from OpenAI with this cutting edge model. So I'll stop speaking there, and why don't we see the video?
Yeah. What Satya saw?
Yeah, sure.
So if you could cue the video, I think it runs for a few minutes.
Hi, this is the demo of the Bhashini bot, which has been built combining the open source AI models on Indian languages, built as part of the Bhashini project, with the surprisingly capable GPT models coming from OpenAI. And this is meant more as a demonstration of what is possible when you have people communicating in their native tongue and also getting back responses in that, but calling a highly capable general intelligence model. In this case, this model has been fine-tuned to be highly accurate on the PM Kisan Yojana, which is the Prime Minister's scheme for farmers. Right? So let's get started and I'll say more about it. क्या मैं PM Kisan के लिए eligible हूँ? So I just recorded some audio with speaking in Hindi, and of course using code mixing, I said eligible and so on. And then I'm uploading this to WhatsApp. This is being picked up from there. And then you run the Bhashini models, which transcribe it into Hindi text that you see here. Then they are being translated, sent to the GPT model, which has given this response, right? यह देखने के लिए कि क्या आप PM किसान के लिए योग्य हैं, मुझे आपकी श्रेणी, आय की स्थिति और भूमि के प्रकार की जांच करने की आवश्यकता होगी. So basically it is saying I need more details on certain things, and you can of course for those who don't read or find it more convenient to listen, they can play.
यह देखने के लिए कि क्या आप PM किसान के लिए योग्य हैं, मुझे आपकी श्रेणी, आय की स्थिति और भूमि के प्रकार की जांच करने की आवश्यकता होगी.
This is highly convenient, so you can read it as well. So I'm going to go and respond to this. मैं एक 2 एकड़ की जमीन पे खेती करता हूँ और लगभग 10,000 रुपये महीने का बनाता हूँ. So as part of the persona, I say that I'm a farmer who farms in a 2-acre field and make about 10,000 rupees per month. Now the GPT model in this case has been specialized to factually answer questions on eligibility based on the actual eligibility that the government has laid out. Right? So it says आपने जो जानकारी दी है उसके आधार पर आप PM किसान के लिए योग्य प्रतीत होते हैं. You appear to be eligible based on the details you have said. हालांकि मैं आपको PM किसान पोर्टल के साथ डबल चेक करने की सलाह देता हूँ. I would recommend you to double check with the portal. So it's being conservative, not authoritative currently, right? That's good. So it seems like I'm eligible. I can say, मुझे कितना पैसा मिलेगा? How much money would I get as part of the scheme? Right? So यदि आप PM किसान के लिए पात्र हैं, तो आप रुपए प्राप्त करने की उम्मीद कर सकते हैं 3 समान किस्तों में 6,000 रुपये प्रति वर्ष, प्रत्येक 4 महीने में 2,000 रुपये. So it firstly retains the conversational context where it has established that you may be eligible but not ascertained it. If you're eligible, then you will get about 6,000 rupees in a year, divided into 3 installments of 2,000 each, right? In every 4 months, 2,000 rupees. I may say, ये पैसा मुझे कैसे मिलेगा? So notice how the conversation is highly contextual. I'm able to retain context from what I have said before almost fluidly, right? And it's able to continue this question. So यह राशि आपके सीधे आपके बैंक खाते में ट्रांसफर की जाएगी. So it's a direct benefit transfer. इसके लिए आपको PM किसान पोर्टल पर अपनी बैंक डिटेल देनी होगी, right? So this is the kind of place where people who are not maybe tech savvy will get stumped, right? So what is this PM किसान portal, right? And this is where things like FAQs etc. break because they don't keep this context in mind. मुझे PM किसान पोर्टल के बारे में नहीं पता, कोई और विकल्प है तो वो बताइए. So I don't know about this portal. If there is an alternative, please suggest that. Right? And notice that this is not a kind of question which has been directly answered in what we have given the bot, but it is able to make these inferences as part of the model. PM किसान के लिए निम्नलिखित तरीकों से आवेदन कर सकते हैं. राजस्व अधिकारियों, ग्राम पटवारियों या अन्य नामित अधिकारियों या एजेंसियों के साथ निकटतम साझा सेवा केंद्रों पर या किसान कार्नर के माध्यम से PM किसान पोर्टल पर. So basically there are some assisted services. I think the most important one seems to be this Saja Seva Kendra or CSC, which are available across rural India, and you could go there and you get the service to access it. That seems reasonable, so I can say, ठीक है, मैं सेवा केंद्र जाऊंगा. और कुछ ध्यान रखना है क्या जाने के पहले? So I'll go there, but is there something else to keep in mind before I go there? Right? Again, look at how open-ended this question is. I'm just asking, is there something to be aware of before I go without any specific objective in mind, right? And it says, PM किसान के लिए आवेदन करते समय आपको निम्नलिखित दस्तावेज प्रस्तुत करने की आवश्यकता होगी. You need to present the following documents when you go there. आधार कार्ड, नागरिकता प्रमाण, भूमि दस्तावेज. So it says there's a list of things that you need to keep in mind, right? A very good answer to the question of what should I keep in mind when I go to the Seva Kendra. But here, this particular word नागरिकता प्रमाण, which is citizenship proof, might be surprising. So I might say, ये नागरिकता प्रमाण कैसे दिखाऊं? And how do I establish this citizenship proof? So नागरिकता प्रमाण ऐसा कोई भी दस्तावेज है जो यह साबित करता है कि आप एक भारतीय नागरिक हैं. So it first defines what it is because I sort of appeared to be clueless about it. So it is a citizenship proof. And then the second line says यह पासपोर्ट, पैन कार्ड, मतदाता पहचान पत्र, जन्म प्रमाण पत्र आदि हो सकते हैं. The examples are, it could be a passport, PAN card, voter card, birth certificate, etc. Ends the demo. I hope you get a sense that you can actually have fairly coherent conversations with this combination of language-specific interface models and a general-purpose intelligence model, but which has been grounded in the knowledge, in this case, of a particular scheme. This grounding is important because otherwise the responses may be not accurate, the model may hallucinate answers and so on. So we believe that there is some care to be taken there. But in principle, in terms of potential, this I think is fantastic for being able to reach to people in their languages.
Well-deserved applause. Can you walk us through what was mind-opening in what we just saw?
Yeah, so by the way, something like this a year back would have been considered a PhD thesis, right? But today it is a weekend project, right? That's the change that we have gone through, right? What is interesting here is we are combining models which are available from the Bhashini project, which are recognizing what, in this case, the farmer was saying in Hindi, fairly conversationally, fairly naturally, recorded on a mobile phone, not any expensive microphones. Accuracy of transcription is very good. Accuracy of translating it to English is very good. And then the ability to reason on that scheme data that has been ingested, that combined back with the fact that you can translate back to Hindi and again generate highly natural sounding speech back, right? So this ability for a farmer who is speaking and understanding only Hindi, but is in touch with this global information web, which is primarily growing in English, right? I think this combination of getting people access to information in English, but in their language, I think that seems to be an interesting moment. And Satya said it better. He said somehow there is some work happening in the west coast of the US a few weeks back, and I see here a demo of somebody in India benefiting with it 2-3 weeks later. So this enormous ability to diffuse technology and almost level the playing field for everybody in accessing information, that I think is interesting.
Before the session, backstage, we're talking about your XYZ theory and how it can unlock a lot of value. If you could elaborate on that.
Right. That was a bit more technical, but I'll make an attempt to say what it is. I think, so I was trying to understand why Satya felt it is very stunning. Because Satya spoke about it at Davos, and then I don't know how many of you know, but Satya launched a Bing chat product where ChatGPT or GPT-like models are used within Bing, and he mentions this particular demo in his first 5 minutes. So I was wondering why exactly it is so special, right? And the theory that we are trying to develop is there are 3 things which are coming together. One, a dramatic step change in the capability of AI, right? That we are all seeing because you're playing with ChatGPT. The second thing is the ability to reach consumers, which someone like Satya Nadella would never imagine using a Microsoft product, right? All of you are building also EdTech products. The kinds of new consumers of technology you can reach to because you have things like language AI. That's the second axis. The third axis, which is not yet demonstrated, but I think you'll see some cool demonstrations in months' time, is the ability to build technology, not consume technology, but the ability to produce or build technology. And it is my hypothesis that the bot that you saw, which sort of was put together by me in a few days, could be built by a village-level entrepreneur in India. Right? India has this concept of VLEs, village-level entrepreneurs, and we have about 500,000 of them. I believe that we should be able to get to a place where a village-level entrepreneur is again chatting with a WhatsApp-like interface and actually building the bot, right? So that's the third axis. We'll have producers of technology, completely unimagined segments of society doing that. So that product, right, the technology step change, the new producers and the new consumers, that volume, so to speak, is tremendously large, right? And that's why people are finding this, I believe, to be stunning, right? Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Shankar, right? We saw the example with the farmer, right? But given this context and also given your deep expertise in education and skilling, how would you try to bring this technology? What do you think are key ways to demonstrate value of that in education and skilling?
In fact, day before, there was a launch of certain teaching learning materials for the foundation stage by the central government institution. For that, Bhashini was used to enable language translation in 13 languages of the content, number one. There was a bunch of teacher handbooks that were created, 300 pages, which talks about if you have the following materials, here is a teaching learning activity that you can do, right? For various kinds of competencies across 5 domains of development, very technical. Through the bot and the variation of this, the minister saw somebody asking that, I have some matchsticks and clay. What competency can I teach and what activities can I do in the classroom to teach that? And it articulated what all should happen, but rather than risk hallucinating, it also pointed out which page numbers the teacher should go to for more details, because this is technical information. The bot cannot make up things. So it also said, in a way, saying that, look, this is what it is, but if you go to these 4 pages, you can get more details about it. That's the second. Third, as you said, you go 50 kilometers, the language changes. So for a teacher, if there are 30 children, there are likely to be 4 or 5 dialects, especially in the early years. So sometimes, by the way, coincidence, we both discovered we were born in the exact same Sambalpur General Hospital. Coincidence. The probability of that is very low, right? So even in a state like Odisha, there's so many languages, dialects. The teacher might say something in a language the child may not understand, right? So when you have technologies like Bhashaverse and others, from where I can switch from one language audio to another language, it enables the barriers of language to be broken and to create bridges of communication. This is useful in skilling also. When a plumber from Odisha migrates to Bangalore, when a carpenter from Rajasthan goes to Chennai, language is a barrier. But for a transaction, you don't need perfect grammar. You don't need perfect knowledge of that. All you need to know is a way to communicate and transact. And some of the early work there is giving me a lot of hope that given the immense talent, lack of knowing English or Hindi should not become a friction to progress, whether it be in accessing language. So for example, one of the technologies which you're working on, Chitralekha, which allows language subtitling of a video, means once there's good content in English, very quickly, whether it be through the village level entrepreneurs, state level boards, they can translate it into their language. So therefore, the amount of content available in India's 22 official languages, 170 languages and dialects, can be such that I learn in the early years in my language. 510 million Indian students plus youth, right? If their learning and earning potential can improve, combined with your value unlocking, we are looking at a massive kicker to the GDP. And that excites me a lot.
Great, great. And what I find fascinating is the ability India has shown to create these digital public goods, right? And language AI is one such new element in the stack, right? And that's, I think we're leading in that sense, right? The ability that we have shown to bring together partners and build this and then deploy them at a population scale, right? So bringing that thinking to this world of large language models and education, what do you think is the ecosystem play there?
It's a very complex problem, languages and high-tech meeting language. So in India, going back to what Pratyush said, the language AI part has been triggered by the government of India through a project called Bhashini, where we are actually getting crowdsourced data on various languages through a program called Bhasha Dan or Donate Language, where you can go to a website and speak in your language or translate a text in your language, and every state is encouraging its own native speakers to do that. So that is the language AI. This is like the digital rails for AI, what Nandan talked about yesterday. We are one of the few countries building a digital rail for AI. So language AI is a public good. On top of that, you have the LLM, the large language model AI, which is open AI. On top of that, you have various actors building in applications, whether it be AI4Bharat or already applications of this are being thought of in not just in agriculture, education, skilling, but health and many other sectors. We will have applications coming in from innovators, startups, from government, from society to figure out how the differently able can use this. So a language layer by government, an open AI layer by open tech, and an application layer by everybody. What my co-founder at EkStep Foundation, Rohini Nilekani, calls the Sarkar Samaj Bazaar, or the government, markets, and society coming together, each doing what they're good at, and each participating and yet pulling stuff from this common repository. And that is a unique India model. It's not like in the US, it's not like in the Europe, it's not like in China or anywhere else. This model I see in the next 2-3 years will allow India to race ahead, where mind-opening artificial intelligence will meet heart-opening development-related applications.
Yeah, great slogan for a new organization, I suppose. But I can speak a bit about AI4Bharat because we have tried to take some of those initial steps of creating an ecosystem. So AI4Bharat is a center of excellence at IIT Madras. IIT Madras is one of the institutes, premier engineering institutions in South India. And it's funded by the Bhashini project, but also by EkStep Foundation and Nandan Nilekani himself, and also by Big Tech. So it actually has support from Microsoft Research and Microsoft and so on. So it's somehow already a bit of a microcosm where you have these three partners already playing a role. I believe, given how fast this landscape is changing, given, I think I heard the previous speakers mention how they build a product and then it's outdated in 3 months, right? I think there is need for capacity building, where we collectively understand this new technology and enable many more people to innovate and put things out there, backed by, let's say, an academic perspective, or let's say, a perspective coming from an organization like AI4Bharat or Bhashini project, which provides the tools to make that innovation possible. So I think in the coming months, we will say more about this. We are trying to set together an ecosystem for LLM-based innovation, where Indian languages plays a key role. And I think we'll invite people from here to participate in that. Yeah.
Last question, beyond the hype and the hoopla, what is the reality? What further work needs to be done? What cautions need to be exercised?
Yeah, so we are very high in the hype cycle now, but also simultaneously very high in the value cycle, right? So it's not empty hype. There's a lot of value, but still we are too high, and there is a danger of falling flat, right? And that's because everybody expects everything is possible, but no, there are significant challenges, right? And many of us might have seen things in the news which show that these large language models can hallucinate, can play personalities and so on. But I think that's why it's important that whenever we think of deploying these technologies, we recognize that significant technical work needs to be done to make it safe. This idea of responsible AI has gone up many notches now, given how powerful AI is. And I think it's important not to believe that the problem is solved. There's a lot of work to be done, and done each time you deploy this for a particular application. Yeah, I'll stop.
Thank you, Dr. Pratyush. More power to you and your tribe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shankar and Pratyush. It was fascinating to see what's possible with AI. Thank you.